DC Comics, Marvel Comics create superheroes, and here I am with the phenomenal Chuck D. Yes, Tom Petty's favorite rapper, Mr. Chuck Dangerous, the hard rhymer, the rhyme animal. But tell me about Kyle Ryder producing Keep Rising to the Top for Dougie Fresh, man.
Dougie showed Public Enemy how to have movement on stage. So he's our master teacher. He became even closer to myself, Hank Shockley, and wanted us to produce some records for him. And Keep Rising to the Top was a takeoff the Kenny Burke record. And Doug knew what he wanted and spanked it. And not only did it in a great recording, but Dougie also just made it a main staple of his performances.
In 1967, you sitting at the knee of your father. Now the Knicks are in the playoffs, bro.
The Knicks, the New York Knickerbockers.
Come on, fam.
Final Four. If they actually get into the finals, don't go near 7th Avenue and 33rd and 34th Street. That's Goon Central Station.
Let's go! Let's fucking go!
See, you're one of them. You're one of them, D-Stroy.
Lunatic! Let's go!
Goon Square Garden.
Come on! And look at this. Mr. Magic was like, nah, B, I ain't fucking with them Public Enemy dudes.
I tell you a secret about that, D-Stroy, is we at WBAU and Dr. Dre, our Dr. Dre, Yo MTV Raps, Andre Brown, my good friend, classmate, and everything. He was doing a radio show and he interviewed KRS-One and Scott LaRock for Criminal Minded. So they had crazy beef at Magic. So they slandered him, they sliced him to pieces on the radio, right? Magic just saw us all in one big bowl of soup. So when the Public Enemy thing came out, he was like, yo, they suckers too. I'm like, yo, I caught a stray. We caught a stray from Magic. It was like, yo, damn, like, yo, you couldn't say, yo, that was Chris and Scott, you know?
Yeah.
So we just had to line up and say, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, we all in the same bowl of soup, but that's how that whole started. So when Magic came out and said, no more music for the suckers, and he dissed us on the air, it really was back from hearing like that. So he was taking what he thought was the second shot.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, Chris and Scott gave it to him. And they had some beef, like Magic didn't play their music, and that was a mistake, and they let them have it. And then, in hindsight, there was no reason why Magic shouldn't have played their music.
Yeah.
But then that got caught up in like the bridge and the bridge is over later on. The Bronx versus Queens, Marley from Queens and Queens Bridge and all that. And Marley didn't even want to get caught up in that. But, he had to get the orders. It was Cold Chillin', Queens Bridge, and everything that Marley produced for Magic's show.
You know it's route. That's what you end up using it on a song.
Yeah, before Cold Lamping with Flavor.
Yeah. Here I am with the phenomenal Super Spectrum Mix Hour legend. Give me a taste of what Chuck D sound like out there in Adelphi University days, man.
Yeah, 7474757 WBAU 90.3 on the FM dial. This is a Super Spectrum Mix show and a half. My man Flavor Flav, and that's right. There was a KJEE. I'm Chuck D. Here we go. Another joint. Run DMC. Live from Hollis. We here. Let's go.
Who do we credit with giving the demo to Def Jam? DMC, JMJ, or Dr. Dre?
Dre got it from me, and he was the Beastie Boys DJ on tour. So from his hands, and also Jam Master Jay, I reached over Jay to give it to him, and Jay was like, what is this? It goes from Dre to Jay to Adam Yauch to Ad Rock into Rick.
Wow.
And with Mike D in there somewhere. Because they used to play WBAU tapes all the time.
Fire. You were so much on the radio. You're even on the radio as DJ Forthright MC on Grand Theft Auto.
I never played a video game. I never played video game.
You never played it in the Knicks, but you love the Knicks. Ain't nobody judging you.
Yeah.
You trash. You a great passer. Ice Cube is nicer than you on the shooting, but you a good passer. This is a fact.
And let me tell you, I played with R. Kelly. They all want to play with me because I had handle, I played D, and I get them the ball.
Look at this, y'all. He said that in American.
At 64, at 65, got a little bit in the tank.
Give me an understanding of what the Funky Frank and the Street Force logo look like
it would have been a sewer top, funky, and it was just a name I heard, like, you know, where you hear dedications on a radio show. Because if I hear something good, I'm snatching, like things on TV.
Yeah, like Chuck D. I was Chuck D when I was a kid. And then he heard it, and he's like, yo, Mr. Magic, I'm taking this.
That's right. Oh, there you go. But, you know, I say, oh, yeah, this song goes out to Funky Frank and the Street Force. I said, I don't know if they're a real crew or not, but we snatching that. I made a logo for it all. I didn't have the people. So I made the logo for it, and that was the PE logo.
The logo existed before the actual group.
Yeah, the logo existed. And here's another thing. Leaders of the New School was a bar that existed before the group.
It was a bar?
It was in Don't Believe the Hype. Leaders of the New School, uncool, never played the fool, just made the rule, you know?
Yeah.
And then Buster and Charlie Brown and Dinko, they would be downstairs, and then they needed a name for their group. And not only, and the logo looked like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, okay.
So Leaders of the New School.
Yeah.
And then I went out on tour, and then they handled their own business.
What a visionary you are.
Big up to Dante Ross.
Yes.
Because Dante signed a slew of artists over there on Elektra, and the rest is history.
With Bomb Squad and all that, with utilizing samples and clearance issues, are there any records that you know you guys don't make money from because of publishing?
Plenty. Shit. He Got Game was crazy. He Got Game, man, and I had to make He Got Game. It was my last album on Def Jam in '98, and I had to complete the record before I got off. And then Spike wanted the Buffalo Springfield sample and got it cleared through Stephen Stills, but then their publishing company comes in and says, you know what? Not only do we want 100%, we want 100%. We want 150% of the record. So we like, what the fuck does that mean? They said, not only do we own that record's publishing, but we own 50% of another record that's on the album. I'm like, who the fuck does that? So you brought up a sorry-ass subject on that one, because every time I see it go ding, no. But then again, I have to say, you know what? I did the lyrics, but that record was so familiar and already was a legendary hit before. Yeah, that record was what it was before I even touched it. What can I get out of it? You got to squeeze whatever lemonade that you get out of it is what it is.
Now, Janet Jackson calls you.
And it wasn't my hands on the cover.
Listen. I'm telling you, this is Chuck D, y'all. Come on, man. Janet Jackson calls you to be feature our new agenda, man.
Not only Janet and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Now, tell me about Pastor Dehaney.
Oh, no, yeah, Carl Dehaney. And he was an MC. He wrote lyrics, and he also came out there that day. He had a great time, and he remembers it forever. He was like sanitation commissioner out in Nassau County. So real people get real jobs. They might be songwriters, but we tell people all the time, don't give up your day job.
For sure. I love it. Now, you finally reconnecting. Of course, we did it for What You're Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down with Def Jam.
Yeah.
Great takeaways from that. Yeah. And now here we are on this Radio Armageddon.
Enemy Radio's the MC DJ component of Public Enemy. It highlights MCs, DJs in a sort of format. The album really has no beginning and no ending. And it doesn't really have singles. It's like shavings. And Def Jam thought that, you know, New Gens was something they could shave and make something out of it. I think the next one is Black Don't Dead, which talks about, you know, a lot of times, you know, we black folk, we say, yeah, black don't crack. But it can die.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of it.
It's about to hit the road with Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Public Enemy is set up with Enemy Radio with DJ Johnny Juice and Jahi manning the decks with, you know, Pop Diesel and James Bond. And myself and Flavor Flav, and going with a DJ component with Guns N' Roses in stadiums in Europe. So it's going to be...
How beautiful is that right there?
Well, we're going to Bulgaria, Scandinavia, different parts in Europe. Not going to do the whole tour. Just come back, do some festivals, touch it and go a little bit.
Let's go.
No more of like be out for 5 months and then come back and like where am I living, whatever.
You a fan of this of touring? You still love it?
Well, it'd be towards 117.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Shit, let's go.
Well, like you got to make sure that you manage your touring. It don't master you. Because you can come back and be like, well, I thought who's supposed to take care of this here?
Yeah.
And who's supposed to take care of that there? So you got to kind of keep a flow like blood flow.
Well, you wrong about Elvis Presley being racist on Fight the Power.
It was an attack on icons in America, saying that Elvis was the king and nobody else was. A lot of people don't connect Fight the Power to Do the Right Thing. They might have heard the song, but they never saw the movie. And in the movie, what was the key? Sal, how come there ain't no black people on the wall? So the Fight the Power line about Elvis and John Wayne was pertaining to that. Like, we got heroes that need to be on the wall too, and that was the meaning for the Elvis line. John Wayne, I meant it.
Yeah.
Elvis.
You seen his face?
Elvis.
Yo, for everybody that didn't see Chuck D's face right now.
Yeah. Elvis,
Holy shit!
Elvis was
get out the room right now.
Elvis was a cool white boy who got distorted, and like when I'm growing up, you don't know Elvis is on drugs. You just see he went from this guy into this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, drugs, guns, and Nixon. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I attacked it, But in hindsight, it was like John Wayne was a POS anyway. So
yeah, holy moly! Your Shaman, Be Real, Cypress Hill.
Oh man. And DJ Lord, who Public Enemy's DJ for 20 years, and then Prophets of Rage 4 years, and now a member of Cypress Hill, the Mighty Four.
Nice.
Be Real, DJ Lord, Eric Bobo, and Sin Dog OG.
I love
Greatest group in the world, man.
Oh my
Greatest
gosh.
group in the world, man.
Samuel Jackson is in 911 is a Joke and Night of the Living Bassheads. You ever reconnect with him?
He came to one of our shows in San Diego some years ago. The crazy thing, D? If you look at old videos, you start seeing a lot of actors that later on got their paper in acting.
Guys, Chris Thomas, the first host of Rap City.
Yep.
Was in Return of the Night of the Living
Bassheads. What's his name? Powell, was in Hazy Shade of Criminal with us. Of course, we had Regina King in Can't Trust It. But she was already a star on the TV show that she did. So when you look at old school hip hop videos, you'd be surprised at how many modern day actors, got their start up in them videos.
For sure, man. I love it. Key and Peele is in the Weird Al Yankovic video, Riding Dirty. That's a nice little one. But why did you not let Madonna come to the studio, man?
That was Hank's call. Hank was in charge. Hank didn't even want no video. That's why we don't have footage from the studio. We don't have no pictures from the studio. Like ironclad door. Me, I'm like, but I'm not the guy in charge of those sessions and all that. So I'm following the rules. So when I did my record with Sonic Youth, we were at Green Street, and we were using Studio B, and they were using Studio A. So we come out in the middle of the lobby and order food. So Thurston and Kim were making Goo, and we were making Fear of Black Planet, or working on Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. So
wow.
After that, so we come out and order from the same restaurant and all. So they were like, "You mind coming in here? We knocking out this song," and that's how my appearance happened with on Goo on Cool Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck D right now, on today's date, has a new project on Def Jam
Radio
Records.
Armageddon.
Now, Hindenburg, man, Zeppelin. Why we call it the Blimp now? Remember all of that?
Yeah, that's the art direction of like make fun with it. The other day when I was in Rough Trade and EP was there and Pop Diesel was there, it was like you see old heads come in there and they see me in the corner with a giant poster and all this vinyl, and they like it old heads, right? Old rock heads is looking and staring like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not Led Zeppelin, but what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You got to do interesting things, D.
Absolutely. Put your GPS directions to the project that has Yak Fu front.
Yes.
Bro.
Yeah,
Breeze,
man, those are
Schoolie
guys.
D, Daddy O, Jazzy J.
Drops from Cujo Goody, and they did drops. So it's almost like a radio station dipped in acid out of the Paul's Boutique, DJ Shadow, Wu-Tang is going to attack you when you leave the booth type of thing going on. It ain't meant, you know what, D? It ain't even meant to be liked.
Yeah. Chuck D. Gonzalez, thank you so much for everything that you've done in your career. From a person like me of my descent, I love you. You've been a voice for me. You've made me feel stronger as a human being. Keep going, keep cooking, because it gives me more ammunition to exist and be proud.
Well, thank you, sir. And to leave this booth with that energy, man, it makes us go on. Big up, like I said, to Brian Eno and Hip Hop C-Doc putting together Radio Armageddon. Big up to my man EP at Def Jam. Def Jam tells you who we are. So there we go. Yeah, man.
You had a good time?
Of course. Well, you, shit. How can you not? What the fuck?